My dear ones. Today I want to share a story that touched my heart in a very special way. Do you see this image behind me? That's where our main character lives, in a garbage dump. Yes, that's right. I met this boy a few years ago in a place where most people only see trash, but I saw hope. With just one leg and a heart as big as the world, he taught me that sometimes, it's in the face of adversity that the most beautiful souls bloom. And it was on a park bench, between two worlds that seemed impossible to connect, that he crossed paths with Vivian, a woman who had everything. Except peace. Want to know how a simple gesture can change two lives, and maybe even yours? Then stay with me, open your heart. Because this is the kind of story that stays with us for a lifetime. Shall we go together? And don't forget to follow our page. Now it's your turn, my friend. Nana Rose has missed you.
Hello Nana Rose, I miss you dearly as well. My story begins with dust swirling in the landfill, a constant companion in my world of waste. For 15 years I've known this landscape of discarded dreams, its stench now a familiar perfume to me. My mother scavenges through the refuse, her hands calloused and nimble, sorting through the debris in search of anything of value. My sister, barely 10 years old, shadows her, her eyes wide with a hunger that runs deeper than any empty stomach. We are the inheritors of what others have deemed worthless, our lives woven into the fabric of their detachments. And I, with only one leg, navigate this uneven terrain with a trained agility born of necessity. The missing limb is no longer a source of grief, especially since I found an old prosthesis in the trash and am using it in my daily life. It's simply part of me and my story, a challenge to be overcome, a silent testament to a past I barely can and prefer not to recall. Whispers of an accident, a fever, a brutal amputation, these are the grim narratives that surface in my memory, tales I learned through my mother during rare moments of quiet. But the past holds little sway in a world where survival is the only present. Our shack, cobbled together from salvaged scraps of wood and corrugated metal, offers scant protection from the elements. Rain seeps through the cracks, transforming the earthen floor into a muddy quagmire. The wind howls through the gaps, carrying the stench of decaying refuse from the landfill and the barking of the dogs that dwell there. Yet, despite all this, within these flimsy walls, we find a semblance of home, a sanctuary for our family from the harsh realities of the outside world. My mother's unwavering love, my sister's infectious laughter, these are the anchors that keep us grounded, the beacons that guide us through the darkness. Beyond the confines of the landfill, a distinct world unfurls itself, a realm of gleaming towers and immaculate lawns, a world of abundance and privilege. I glimpse it in the distance, a shimmering mirage on the horizon, a stark reminder of the chasm that separates us from those who dwell in comfort. Occasionally, I venture beyond our familiar territory and into the city, driven by a curious naivete, a yearning to comprehend the lives of those who inhabit this other kingdom that seems so beautiful and flawless to me. I seize these moments and make a few sales, peddling small trinkets sculpted from discarded materials, offering them to passers-by with a hopeful smile. Most avert their gaze, their faces etched with distaste or indifference. A few offer a reluctant coin, their pity leaving a bitter taste in my mouth. But one day was different. Amidst the bustling crowd and the faces that barely glanced my way, I saw a woman. She sat on a park bench, her head bowed, her shoulders racked with silent sobs. Dressed in elegant clothes, her perfectly coiffed hair framed her face. To me, that woman was the very personification of a world that seemed so distant, so unattainable, yet in that instant, she was so vulnerable, so broken. Her sorrow felt like a palpable presence that transcended the barriers of wealth and status. I hesitated, unsure exactly what to do. My instincts urged me to withdraw, to vanish into the anonymity of the crowd. What could I, a boy from the landfill, possibly offer a woman who seemingly had everything? Yet something propelled me forward, a sense of empathy, a recognition of the shared human experience of pain. I approached her cautiously, my heart hammering in my chest with the fear of rejection, my words carefully chosen. I offered her a simple gesture of comfort, a small act of kindness, a flicker of hope amidst her despair. And in that instant, our lives became intertwined, our destinies forever altered by a chance encounter on a city park bench. This moment was magical, the unexpected intersection where two utterly distinct worlds collided, setting in motion a chain of events that would challenge our perceptions, redefine our beliefs, and ultimately reveal the transformative power of human connection. Her tears, a shimmering cascade against the backdrop of her expensive attire, presented a stark contrast, a chasm between appearance and reality. I extended my hand, calloused and rough, offering not money but a tacit and unadorned understanding. "It's okay not to be okay," I whispered, the words clumsy yet heartfelt, born of countless evenings spent witnessing my own mother's silent struggles. She lifted her gaze, her eyes red and swollen from weeping, a flicker of surprise within their depths. Perhaps she anticipated judgment or perhaps pity, but what she encountered was something far more disarming, a genuine empathy. "Who are you?" she inquired, her voice barely a whisper, choked with emotion. "Just someone who sees you," I replied, my gaze unwavering. I offered neither my name nor recounted my history. In that moment, her pain was the only thing that held any significance. I simply remained by her side, a comforting presence against the tempest raging within her. Time seemed to stand still as we stood there, two souls so different yet bound by a shared vulnerability. The sounds of the city at that moment were merely a distant hum, the bustling crowds dissolving into a haze of anonymity. All that remained was the unspoken understanding between us, a connection forged in the crucible of shared pain. Finally, her sobs subsided, replaced by an exhaustive silence. She turned to me, her eyes questioning, as if searching for answers to questions she couldn't comprehend. "Why?" she asked, her voice still tremulous. "Why would you care? You don't even know me." I shrugged, a simple yet profound gesture. "Perhaps because everyone needs someone who cares," I replied. "Perhaps because, sometimes, the smallest act of kindness can make the biggest difference to a person." That day, on that park bench, an unlikely friendship began to burgeon, a testament to the enduring power of human connection. Vivian was her name, and she was an accomplished businesswoman, a pillar of the community, a woman who seemingly possessed everything. Beneath the veneer of prosperity, however, she harbored a profound loneliness, a void that no amount of wealth or accomplishment could ever satiate. Her husband's passing, which had occurred a year prior, had left her adrift in a sea of grief. Her children, grown and scattered across the globe, expressed their condolences but were unable to bridge the emotional distance that separated them. Her friends, engrossed in their own lives, offered mere platitudes, unable to penetrate the wall of sorrow that enveloped Vivian's existence. But I, a boy raised in the junkyard, pierced through her facade, recognizing the pain that lay concealed behind her meticulously constructed appearance. I offered her not solutions, but simply companionship. I listened without judgment, offered solace without expectation, and reminded her that she was not alone in her suffering, and that I was there to comfort her. In return, she offered me something equally invaluable: acceptance. She didn't recoil from my appearance, didn't waver at my humble origins. She saw me not as a charity case, but as the human being I am, worthy of respect and affection. She taught me about the world beyond the landfill, about art and music, about literature and history. She broadened my horizons, challenged my preconceived notions, and inspired me to dream beyond the confines of my circumstances. Our friendship blossomed into a haven of solace for both of us, a safe harbor against life's tempests. From that day forward, we met regularly, sharing stories, laughter, and tears. We explored the city together, uncovering hidden treasures and unforeseen joys. We learned from each other, grew together, and became each other's chosen family. As I extended my hand to Vivian, I realized that I was no longer just a boy from the landfill. I was a friend, a confidant, a companion on life's unpredictable journey. Now, consider how this bond transforms not only our individual lives, but also the perspectives of those who witness this improbable connection. Vivian's world, formerly defined solely by board meetings and charity galas, began to incorporate the rhythms of the landfill. Conversely, my existence, previously consumed by hunting and survival, expanded to include museum visits and classical music concerts, something I never imagined I would experience. It wasn't a transition that happened swiftly, of course. The initial encounters were characterized by awkwardness, a palpable awareness of our disparate backgrounds. Nevertheless, the genuine affection we harbored for one another served as a bridge, enabling us to navigate these unfamiliar territories with grace and levity. Beyond the personal connection, our improbable friendship sparked curiosity and, at times, outright disbelief among those who witnessed it. How could a friendship blossom between individuals living in such disparate circumstances? Vivian's affluent friends struggled to fathom her investment in a child of the slums, while my fellow scavengers questioned my newfound association with the elite. These external pressures, rather than driving us apart, served to fortify our bond. We became each other's advocates, defending our friendship against the skepticism and prejudice of others. Vivian faced censure from her circle of friends merely for, ostensibly, transgressing her social stratum, while I encountered suspicion for daring to want something more from life than my preordained lot. We refused to be defined by these narrow expectations. Instead, we chose to embrace the richness and complexity of our shared humanity, demonstrating that connection transcends the boundaries of social class. Indeed, Vivian didn't merely offer me educational materials. She provided opportunities to be lived. She enrolled me in a tutoring program, thereby acknowledging my thirst for knowledge and furnishing me with the resources to further my education. Furthermore, she introduced me to mentors who shared her passion for social justice, individuals who inspired me to envision a brighter future in which I could leverage my experiences to advocate for change. It wasn't about molding me into a carbon copy of herself. It was about empowering me to become the best version of myself, to harness my potential, and to contribute to the world in a significant way, particularly to the community in which I resided. Vivian's perspective underwent a profound transformation after our friendship. Her philanthropy had always been characterized by a detached generosity, a sense of noblesse oblige that positioned her as a benefactor dispensing aid to the less fortunate. However, her friendship with me fostered a deeper comprehension of systemic inequality and the complex challenges faced by those living in poverty. She began to see the individuals in the landfill not as faceless statistics, but as human beings with dreams, aspirations, and inherent worth. Consequently, her philanthropic endeavors became more focused on empowerment and systemic change, tackling the root causes of poverty instead of merely alleviating its symptoms. Now, consider how this paradigm shift might influence your own approach to societal issues. Are you content merely offering palliative relief? Or are you willing to invest in long-term solutions that address the underlying problems? Are you approaching those in need with empathy and understanding? Ultimately, the most meaningful acts of service are those that empower individuals to become agents of their own transformation, fostering a sense of dignity and self-reliance. As my horizons and knowledge broadened, so too did my comprehension of the systemic injustices that held individuals captive in circumstances akin to my own. These were not merely isolated misfortunes. Rather, deeply entrenched societal structures perpetuated cycles of poverty and disadvantage. Witnessing Vivian leverage her influence to challenge these very structures ignited within me an ardent aspiration to contribute to a more just and equitable world. My initial foray into activism was somewhat tentative. I began by volunteering at a local soup kitchen, serving meals to the homeless and listening to their accounts. Each encounter served as a poignant reminder of the human cost of poverty, galvanizing my resolve to instigate change. Subsequently, I transitioned into organizing community cleanup campaigns at the landfill, repurposing discarded materials into usable resources and cultivating a sense of collective ownership. One experience, in particular, stands out: the confrontation with a local factory owner who was illegally dumping toxic waste near our community. Armed with evidence gathered through months of meticulous research, I, along with other residents, staged a peaceful protest in front of the factory gates. The owner, initially dismissive, was ultimately forced to negotiate after our story gained traction in the local media, largely thanks to Vivian's connections. The result was a landmark agreement that compelled the factory to implement more stringent environmental controls and compensate the affected residents. This victory, albeit minor in the grand scheme of things, instilled in me a profound sense of justice. It demonstrated that even the most marginalized communities can challenge powerful interests and affect meaningful change through collective action. It also underscored the importance of amplifying marginalized voices, ensuring that those most directly impacted by injustice are at the vanguard of the fight for equality. Alongside my activist endeavors, Vivian encouraged me to explore my artistic talents. Recognizing my innate ability to transform discarded materials into beautiful and evocative sculptures, she perceived in my creations a reflection of both my resilience and my unique perspective on the world. She organized exhibitions of my work in local galleries, affording me a platform to share my story and challenge conventional notions of beauty and worth. The response to my art has been overwhelming. People have been drawn to the raw emotion and embedded symbolism within my sculptures. My art has become a vehicle for transcending divisions, fostering dialogue, and inspiring empathy. It has demonstrated that creativity can be a potent tool for social change, capable of surmounting linguistic and cultural barriers. With this in mind, take stock of the talents and abilities you possess. How can you leverage these assets to contribute to a cause larger than yourself? Whether through art, writing, music, or any other creative endeavor, your unique perspective has the potential to illuminate hidden truths, challenge deeply entrenched biases, and galvanize others into action. The most impactful contributions often emerge from unexpected sources, demonstrating that everyone has the capacity to be an agent of positive change. Reflecting on this journey thus far, we're beginning to perceive a tapestry woven not merely with individual threads of adversity and fortune, but also with the vibrant hues of a reciprocal transformation. The initial contrast, the boy amidst the detritus and the woman amidst the riches, has subtly become less stark, revealing a shared landscape of human experience, a common ground cultivated by empathy and mutual respect. It's akin to watching a landscape painting slowly emerge from a mist, previously obscured details now delineated with increasing clarity. The entire narrative isn't merely about overcoming adversity. It's about deconstructing the prejudices of an entire society. The trajectory of one life, initially dictated by circumstance, begins to chart a new course, guided by newfound aspirations and the unwavering support of an unlikely ally. Concurrently, another life, seemingly complete, finds renewed purpose in the act of empowering another, recognizing the profound interconnectedness that binds us all. We are witnessing not merely a philanthropic transaction, but a dynamic exchange of life perspectives, a friendship that enriches both participants. It is as though two distinct musical instruments, initially playing dissonant melodies, gradually harmonize their notes, creating a richer and more resonant symphony. The initial act of kindness, a spark ignited in a moment of shared vulnerability, propelled a chain reaction of positive changes reverberating to impact communities and challenge social norms. Everything that transpired serves as a potent reminder that potential resides within us all, irrespective of our background or circumstances. It stands as a testament to the transformative power of human connection, the capacity of empathy and understanding to shatter divisions and to inspire hope in the face of despondency. The narrative unfolds not as a singular triumph, but as a continuous evolution, an unremitting process of learning, growth, and contributing to a more equitable and compassionate world. This story is akin to a grain of sand cast into a lake, its ripples of change expanding outward, touching lives and reshaping landscapes far beyond the initial point of impact. The journey, etched in dust and illuminated by an unexpected grace, culminates not in a flawless resolution but in a lingering question: what remains when the extraordinary becomes ordinary? When the boy from the landfill is no longer defined solely by his origins and the privileged woman sheds the burden of expectation. The answer, I believe, lies in the enduring echo of empathy, in the serene resonance of a connection forged in vulnerability and sustained by an unwavering belief in the potential of the human spirit. It's not about erasing the past, but transmuting it. The landfill, once a symbol of limitation, transforms into a testament to resilience, a canvas upon which a new narrative is painted. Privilege, formerly a source of isolation, metamorphoses into a platform for advocacy, a means of amplifying marginalized voices and dismantling systemic barriers. We carry these experiences with us, not as burdens, but as badges of honor, reminders of the transformative power of human connection. The true legacy, therefore, isn't the tangible achievements, the art exhibitions, the community initiatives, the policy shifts, but rather the subtle shifts in perspective, the quiet revolutions of the heart. It's the realization that genuine wealth lies not in material possessions, but in the richness of human relationships, in the capacity to see the world through another's eyes. It's understanding that our individual stories are intrinsically linked, that our destinies are interwoven, and that our collective progress hinges upon our willingness to embrace our shared humanity. Vivian's departure, years later, was not an ending, but a transition. Her memory endures not only in the institutions she supported or the causes she championed, but in the countless lives she touched with her kindness and her unwavering belief in the possibility of change. And I, now a man, carry her spirit within me, a constant reminder of the power of grace and the importance of paying forward the gifts we have received. The sculptures I create now are more than mere artworks. They are testaments to this journey, embodiments of resilience, symbols of hope. They stand as reminders that beauty can emerge from the most unlikely places, that worth can be discovered in the discarded, and that even the most fragile fragments can be pieced together to create something whole and extraordinary. And thus, the story concludes, issuing an invitation to transcend appearances, to challenge your preconceptions, to extend a hand to those who seem different, to listen with an open heart, and to recognize the inherent worth in every human being. The true practice commences now, in the quotidian choices we make, in the small acts of kindness we offer, and in the unwavering conviction that, together, we can build a world where empathy triumphs over indifference and hope prevails over despair. If you enjoyed our story, please leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Nana Rose will respond to you.